This YCN segment is brought to you by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist.
Welcome back, YCN Sports Talk. One final segment. Jeremy Stout, Andrew Zerhide, and move over to some Red Sox. 25 days until spring training, and a couple weeks ago the news came out that the Red Sox had avoided arbitration, reached agreements with many players, including Mookie Betts, who gets $20 million and for a one-year deal. It's a big-time contract, big money, but it's probably nothing for what he'll see in the future when he does sign a real contract.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, if he continues what he did last year, if he keeps doing that up until free agency, he's going to make, in my opinion, at least $32, $33, $34, $35 million a year. is know what the market is exactly going to be at that time, but $20 million, that is very cheap for that caliber of a player. And the Red Sox, really good thing they avoided arbitration, because that process is not fun, especially a guy like Mookie Betts. You want to sign him for life when he is a free agent. And really, if you go into arbitration process, basically you have lawyers come into a court and say why the player isn't as good of a player as the player thinks he is. So it's a good thing they avoided it, because it can kind of make some sour relationships with the team and the player. So it's good the Red Sox, they paid a little bit extra, but $20 million, that's chump change for this kind of player.
Yeah, and you're right. The arbitration process is kind of awkward for the team versus the players, because the team is saying, hey, we want to sign him, but we don't really want to sign him. He's not that good. So let's, and you understand it, it is a business, so you understand it to some degree. And obviously in previous years when they have gone to arbitration, they've worked things out, and they might have paid the guy more or less than they wanted to. Or I know Betts had gotten a little bit less than they wanted to last year, and Bogarts and different things. But in the general sense, what do you think? It depends what the free agents go for this year, but what do you think Mookie could get? I mean, we're talking 10 years, $300 million, or what?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to say. The market is a little strange right now with the deals that Machado and Harper are being offered. But really, if he continues, if he's an MVP candidate every single year, kind of like Mike Trout, I mean, he could command 8 to 10 year contract with the annual value of at least $35 million. I mean, it could even be $40 million. I think I heard when David Price signed with the Red Sox, the actual value that he brings to the team was north of $40 million. So, I mean, Mookie Betts could be the first $40 million annual player ever.
And speaking of Machado and Harper, we have those as our Salt Hill Pub picks of the week. We're going to be picking where we think the last 5 big free agents will be signing. So those are coming up next.
It's time for the Salt Hill Pub Picks of the Week. Salt Hill Pub, honest food, perfect pints, live music, now here to serve you in 5 locations.
All right, here we are with the Salt Hill Pub Picks of the Week, and as I mentioned earlier, we'll be picking where the 5 free agents will be landing. So we have the list here, and we'll pick our team. So first, Andrew, we will start with Dallas Keuchel. Where do you think he'll be going?
Yeah, so I think he is going to the Phillies. I think he is going to join that rotation with Aaron Nola and Jake Arrieta. Those 3 guys are going to be huge for them and probably will lead them to the playoffs. That's my guess.
Yeah, I agree with you. I take the Phillies as well. They've got some money to spend. They're almost on the doorstep of the playoffs. Like you said, this could be that extra piece. So we both have him going to the Phillies for Mike Moustakas. Where do you have him lining up?
So I have him going to the Yankees. I think they're going to do something with that kind of third base spot. They might even trade Miguel Andujar, make a big splash for some kind of pitcher. But also he could play some first base. I think it's a good signing for them. And that short porch will really complement that lefty swing. I'm going with Moustakas.
All right, and with Moustakas, I'm going with the Phillies as well. I know they have some position players. Miguel Franco is there. I know they have some pieces to work around, but I think Moustakas could be that veteran presence, that guy who helps a team, like I said, who might be going to the playoffs. So there we have him. Craig Kimbrell, will he come back to the Red Sox or not?
I think he will come back to the Red Sox. I think it's just going to be a 1 year, maybe $20 million deal. It's going to be a lot of money, but just a short-term 1 year deal. He wants to come back and win another championship. But really, his market is so thin right now. There's really only maybe 1 or 2 other even good options for him. I think he's going to sign a 1 year deal and come back next year for a big free agent contract.
I wouldn't really mind that. I don't mind. I know he had his struggles in the playoffs, but I could get on board with that. But I think he goes to the Atlanta Braves. I think another team that's on the edge of being in the playoffs. and he goes back to the Braves. He's been there before. I have him going to the Braves, going to the National League East. Bryce Harper, number 2. Where do you have him going?
Yeah, so I have him going to the Phillies. I think he maybe could go back to the Nationals, but I think he's going to the Phillies. Like you said, they have a ton of money to spend, and they are ready to sign a superstar like Bryce. I think he's going to have a monster year for them, too.
All right, and I agree with you. I say the Phillies as well. They continue their spending spree. They spent some big money this year, getting some of those younger players, getting some veterans, getting the pitcher, and then well-rounding, and that could be a surprise team winning the National League East. So there we go. For the number 1 free agent, well, maybe not number 1, but we have him on this list, Manny Machado. Where does he go?
So I think he's going to the Chicago White Sox. I think they're going to offer him probably the biggest contract, and also they signed one of his best friends, John Jay, and his brother-in-law, Yonder Alonso. Those 3 of them, they're best friends. They work out in the offseason. Just too many good things for Machado to say no to them, and I think he wants to be there for kind of their rebuild, and he's going to lead them eventually in the future to possibly a championship.
Yeah, and that weak AL Central, I mean, they got obviously they have the Indians right now pretty strong, but
they're about to fall off.
Right, yeah, exactly, and I agree with you there. I take the White Sox as well. I think Machado gets a big contract from the White Sox, maybe struggles for a year or 2 with that young team, but then they get into that full-on, team that can win some championships or at least compete. So there are the Salt Hill Pub picks of the week. A little different this week as baseball season is just around the corner. So Andrew, thanks for coming on. You got the Patriots winning the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
All right, and you'll hear my pick next week. We'll have Brett Franklin on. Thanks for watching YCN Sports Talk.